Hello and welcome back to another out-of-spec detailing video here from Clear Detailing in Northern Colorado. Today we're going to be testing a new to me product, and that is P&S Iron Buster. This is really meant to clean up wheels as well as be used as a paint decontamination to get rid of all of those iron particulates. I thought there was truly no better car than the Mach-E Rally with white wheels to test this out as a wheel cleaner. Now in this video we're going to be talking a little bit, of course, about this product and comparing it to other products that I've tried in the past and see where this really stacks up. It's at a very interesting price point, dual use on this, so I think that's really nice. But let's see how P&S Iron Buster stacks up. Let's jump into it. Now, as you guys know, I really enjoy product testing. I think it's very important as a professional detailer and of course making content for you guys to really try everything that's out there. Now, it can be very hard to try every single wheel cleaner, every single paint decontamination product, but you really go with the staples and sometimes you can come outside of those. Now, wheels have always been something for me that I honestly don't love using really heavy wheel cleaners. Traditionally, what I typically use, in all honesty, is something like Simple Green. Dilute it half and half, 1-to-1, and it actually works amazingly well, especially on coated wheels. But we had this Mach-E Rally in here from Ford today, and I said, you know what? Let's clean up these wheels. And I've been searching around like I always do, just want to grab and test different products, and I came across Iron Buster here. Now, P&S, in my opinion, is a very interesting company. Their products are really on the cheaper side of a lot of the industry. I would say, like, when you look at the products, they kind of look cheap. Their labels don't look that high quality. There's a lot of companies out there, Decon, even Adams, thinking CarPro, other companies out there that spend a lot of money on packaging and marketing. And here with P&S, honestly, what I find quite often is that they just make unbelievably amazing products for a very low price. Now, Iron Buster is slightly different. It's a little on the expensive side. My issue with a lot of wheel cleaners is, yes, they are very effective. You're still having to do a lot of scrubbing with them, same as you would with something like Simple Green. So to me to spend $20 a single bottle to clean up wheels when you can do it for a couple of bucks is really the way to go. But I still like to test and try out these products, so that's why I came here. Now, pricing here, the 16-ounce bottle of Iron Buster, $20.99. You really don't want to buy this in the 16-ounce bottle. It's far more cost effective, of course, to buy in a gallon. This retails for $80.99. Now, compared to other products out there, it's actually on the cheaper side. For their 16-ounce bottle, it may actually seem quite expensive, but for the gallon, it's really in a nice price point territory. Again, I love stuff like Coach Chemie Magic Wheel Cleaner, but at $19.99 a bottle, which this is actually more expensive, to me it just gets too expensive. When you can clean 5, maybe 6 wheels with $20 worth of product, that really adds up quite a bit. Now, Magic Wheel Cleaner here is $134.99 for a 5-liter, which is a 1.3 gallon. So this is definitely on the much cheaper side than Magic Wheel Cleaner. Now, I've done some tests, played with a bunch of different products we're going to talk about here today, give you my comparison thoughts and feelings on this, but this, again, really sits in that interesting price point. Now, this is also a paint decontamination product, so there are also products, something like CarPro Iron X out there, kind of the industry standard, in all honesty, for iron removal, getting all of those particulates off your vehicle's finish to make sure don't have all those little iron deposits on there. It's great, but again, it's also expensive. It also really stinks. I hate using that stuff. Again, that's one of the reasons why I switched over to Simple Green instead of these heavy iron removing wheel cleaners, is because you just smell like it the rest of the day. I work here in a closed environment, and the entire shop, you go upstairs, all of the carpets, everything starts smelling like that. I know it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. A lot of folks are like, I just want my wheels clean. If I can clean it with something that is far cheaper, far more cost effective, and still works as well and doesn't stink as bad, I'm definitely going to use that. So Iron X, $20 a bottle for 16 ounce, $107.99 for a 4-liter, which is right at a gallon. So again, this is still cheaper. Other wheel cleaners that I've tested out there, Adams wheel cleaner is probably Again, one that a lot of people use. I have a big issue though with Adam's wheel cleaner. It stains tires, especially when you're just cleaning up your wheels. They're dry to the touch, no heat on them. Spray down the wheel, and if it starts to a little bit even sort of dry, let alone even really touch the rubber, you start to get all of these marks all over the tires, and I don't really like that. Now, Adam's wheel cleaner is really on the cheapest side of this, $16.99 for a 16-ounce bottle, $69.99 a gallon, so even cheaper than this. But I'll tell you, I've tried it. I really don't like their wheel cleaner. That's my personal opinion. The other one you may be thinking about, Decon wheel cleaner. Now that's $17.99 a bottle for 16 ounce, $100 for a 4 liter. So this one really sits in an interesting price point. Again, P&S is really known for having very economical, affordable, but unbelievably high quality detailing products, but this is really on the more expensive side. So we have the Mach-E here. Let's see how this does. First thing I want to test here, I just want to spray down the wheel, let it dwell for about 2 to 5 minutes or so, it says on here. Now the great thing with this is it's pH neutral. We're not using acids here. We're not going crazy. So it should be totally safe. Now, of course, when doing wheels, you want to make sure they're cool to the touch. You don't want to just come off a hot track day, spray down your wheels. That's not going to be a good thing. You also don't want to let it dry on the wheels. So I want to try that, and then we'll go in and scrub it if necessary. That's a big thing talking about other wheel cleaners. Magic Wheel Cleaner is almost one of those wheel cleaners you can genuinely spray on there, let it dwell, rinse it off, and it is like 90 to 95% clean. So let's see how this stacks up. So we have our quite dirty Mach-E rally wheels here. You can see quite a bit of iron particulates on here. The wheels are starting to look a little bit yellow, a little bit worse for wear. Now, I'm not going to put anything on the tire to shield this. I'm not going to rinse it down first. I just want to see how effective this product works. So we're going to shake this up here and start spraying away. Now, hopefully what we're going to see here is this really starts to turn bright purple, as you can already see it's doing, and really start to react with all of those iron particulates. Now, I will tell you, yeah, this already stinks. Absolutely stinks already. So I don't think it's as bad as some other products I've used in the past. Decon Wheel Cleaner to me is one of the absolute nastiest products out there in terms of the smell. I quite literally will not use it because it smells so bad. This isn't bad, but you definitely have that very nasty wheel cleaner smell. So seeing great reactions there. Love to see that. Let's just watch this sit here until it's almost to the point of being dry, and then let's give it a quick rinse and see how it did. So we are about 2 minutes in here now, and in all honesty, this is actually looking like it is staying pretty darn liquidy in there. I don't think this is drying too quickly, not seeing it drying on the tire here. Definitely pulling quite a bit of grime out of here. Now, I do have to say, honestly, I really feel like the scent is not terrible here. I know this may seem like an overblown thing to a lot of you guys, but seriously, on an indoors environment, having these really nasty wheel cleaners and then smelling like it, you even hop in the shower after a long day detailing and you're still smelling like wheel cleaner is not a fun thing. So I'm anxious to see how this is, but honestly, with it just sitting here, I'm not truly getting choked up like I do with Decon Wheel Cleaner, even Adams for that matter. I'm not really a huge fan of that, but I do think we're pretty much here at the point where we can get this rinsed down. So let me get the pressure washer out. Again, we're at about 2.5, maybe getting close to 3 minutes now. I think this is looking pretty good. So let's give her a quick rinse. So looking at this here, I will say it's looking okay. Wouldn't say it removed everything. Now, I don't necessarily expect this to remove everything. Really, I think this is a good quick cleanup here, as you can see how much brighter the wheels are now, but you can definitely still see in all of the little nooks and crannies here, there is still quite a bit of brake dust on here. So let me bring you in a little bit closer here. I'm gonna grab a towel so we can see how clean or how dirty this actually is. We have a brand new towel here, and I just want to wipe this on here. You can definitely see there's a little bit coming off, but in all honesty, man, that actually pulled quite a bit off. Now, realistically, I think with wheels, a lot of the time they really need agitation, especially if your wheels aren't coated like these Mach-E rally wheels. This is a press vehicle. I think this vehicle has been at Dirtfish. I know it's probably not been totally clean. So I do think that this thing definitely used and abused more often. But man, I am actually really darn impressed here with how well it did. Now, of course, back here in the little spokes, as I can see, this is a hard area for the wheel cleaners to get to. I think those areas are a little tricky. So I would definitely still use this in the same way I would any wheel cleaner. Now, I do want to test on these wheels, cleaning these wheels with just easy simple green, and then compare it to spraying the wheels down, scrubbing them down. We still have 3 more wheels to use to see, okay, does this actually really benefit in making an absolutely perfectly clean wheel, or can you still get away with just using something like simple green? Okay, I think it looks amazingly cool having all of those iron particulates come out, but in all honesty, does it really make that much difference? So we've moved here to the passenger side rear wheel, and I want to give simple green a try. You will still see these wheels are still very filthy, quite a bit of brake dust. I want to do the same exact test because I want to compare. Okay, maybe you can get away with quickly spraying it down with the iron buster there, getting, I don't know, 80 to 85% of the grime off of there, and then testing the same thing with simple green. Will it actually clean quite as well? My interpretation is no, probably not, but let's see how this does. Now, the other thing I love with simple green is you can really clean up your tires with it too, instead of using a heavy, deep tire and rubber cleaner. Now, it doesn't work quite as well if it's really like a nasty brown tire, but if you just want to get a little bit of this off here, simple green's awesome. Again, you can go in there and scrub it. But let's let this sit here for a few minutes. Again, same as the iron buster, rinse it down and compare. So we've waited here, give or take right about 2 minutes, and I'm definitely starting to see that this is getting a little bit on the dry side, probably to the point where this is sat for a little bit, a little less time than we did on the iron buster here. But let's get this rinsed off and compare. So first thing I'm going to tell you here, definitely did not clean quite as much as the iron buster. Again, this is a whole heck of a lot cheaper. So I used a 50-50 dilution in that. You can purchase a gallon of simple green for I think about 12 bucks. So you can make 2 gallons of wheel cleaner for, yeah, not a whole heck of a lot of money, literally about 12 bucks. Whereas a 16-ounce bottle of iron buster over there is, you know, almost $20. So big difference there. Honestly, this didn't clean up as well. Now, my next question here is we're going to use the other side. Like I said, I want to use these in the way I traditionally would use these, in spraying it on there, maybe rinsing it off. But really, a lot of the times what I do is just go in, scrub the wheels, clean them. And I want to see, is there truly a big difference here? I think the interesting thing afterwards when we use the simple green would be to spray the iron buster on it and see if it can get the wheel even cleaner, if it reacts, if there's any leftover brake dust there. So let's flip over to the other side and give this a test. But I will definitely say iron buster worked better here. This definitely still needs quite a bit of cleaning. As you can see, quite a bit of nastiness still coming off there. So didn't do amazingly well, but I think you'll be surprised how well these wheels do clean up with just a little bit of agitation and simple green. I'm going to make it harder for the simple green because on the other side, we use Iron Buster on the front axle, which is naturally going to have more brake dust. So let's see how this does here. I'm going to spray down the tire too. That's another great thing I love about this is that you can use it on some tires. Spray all this down. You can actually see how much it actually lifts off there. It is genuinely quite impressive with just doing that. Now, over here, I have a wheel bucket with quite a few of my different wheel cleaning tools over here. I'm just going to go directly in. I'm not even going to let this dwell all that much, or I will with that Iron Buster, because that's kind of the whole point. You really need to let it dwell. I'm going to try and clean these in the exact same way, making sure that we're getting even cleaning between the two. Now, looking at this, this is looking much better. Now, I think the interesting thing here is, again, I want to dry this and then I want to spray the Iron Buster on here and see if we can pick up even more. Now, of course, I'm not cleaning the barrels in here. The tolerance and how tight everything is in here is extreme with these kind of smaller wheels, bigger Brembo brakes on here. But I got to say, I think this cleaned up pretty well. I'm anxious to move to the rear axle now, use the Iron Buster, and really see how that does. So here we are with the Iron Buster. We're going to clean this as close to as we did last time. The only thing I'm going to do with this is let it sit about 2 to 3 minutes. So let's get in here. I think we're going to see a nice, very nice purple show. I'm going to try and spray this a little more so it can get a little bit more behind all of those little spokes. I'm going to try and get the back end here. Just really curious. Again, the fragrance here is really, truly not that bad. But man, you can already see that immediately start working. So let's let this sit a little bit, come back in with our scrub brushes, and give our final verdict. So guys, I think we're ready to clean now. I let this dwell 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever it is, but it's looking about like the time that I think it started to react, of course, as you can see, bright purple. So let's come in here with our same wheel brushes and notice if we see anything different. So here are results here using the Iron Buster. In all honesty, man, that did a very nice job. Really, honestly, as expected. In all honesty, though, I'm really somewhat impressed with the scent here. I really don't feel overwhelmed by having the shop closed up. This is very workable. Now, are my clothes going to smell like it later? Probably yes, as I can already smell my polo is completely covered in that. So again, that's one of the things that I really don't love. I understand the use case for it, especially if you're doing paint decontamination. You have to have something like Iron Buster, CarPro Iron X. But in all honesty, for wheels, this is where, again, I've gone really just to simple green and using normal pH neutral car shampoo. I find it cleans it quite well. I would say this looks honestly no different than the other wheel. Now, again, the last test I want to do, that front driver's side wheel, I'm going to completely dry it. We're going to spray Iron Buster on and see if we can get any more iron particulates out and see how that is. But in all honesty, yes, this works well, but price point, it's pretty darn expensive. Now, for just a few wheels there, honestly, went through, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of a bottle. So just on 2 wheels, that's honestly not too bad. Now, if you're spraying in the spokes, if the wheels are bigger, yada, 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 you may go through some more. But I felt like I covered the wheel pretty good compared to, you know, other wheels that I've cleaned. So honestly, it seems like it does work quite well. I'm very happy to see also how well this clings to the wheel. That's another thing that I see a lot of wheel cleaners struggle with, is that kind of cling factor. You see them, they get sprayed on there, but then the top half is dry and this is still soaking down here. And it happens very rapidly, especially if you're outside. Even if you're washing in the shade, it's a little bit breezy, a little bit windy, that can start to be a little bit of an issue. So I'm really happy with this actually. Now, will this replace Magic Wheel Cleaner for me? No, the scent is more pleasant on that, and I do think it does a better job doing a touchless clean. But in all honesty, the price point here is really intriguing because, you know, if you're buying it in this, spending more than Magic Wheel Cleaner for a 16-ounce bottle, not ideal. So this is really meant to be in the gallon. But let's move up to the front wheel here. I'm really curious for this test to see if there's anything left over from the Simple Green and Agitation. Again, we're up here with our Simple Green wheel. Let's spray this on here and see if there are still any iron particulates left over. I'm going to douse this pretty good. And let's just let this sit and see how it does. I think this will be a pretty cool test. Wow, so not very far in here, and hopefully you guys can see this. You can definitely see those iron particulates down here starting to be removed. That's not all just from the barrel, so that is actually pretty darn impressive. Now again, if you're going in brand new vehicle, don't think this is the case, but for maintenance, this may be nice to do maybe every other wash, maybe every third wash, to really do a quick deep clean. But in all honesty, I truly think Simple Green does a good job, but getting those iron particulates out of there is impressive. So Simple Green's great, cleaning a lot of dirt off. I think it actually did do pretty well for getting a lot of the brake dust off, but man, every spoke I'm looking in here definitely have some purple. So I want to let this sit a little bit longer. Maybe we should do this same test again to the other wheel to see if there was anything left over on the backside. I don't know. Just want to play around here and see what's what. But this is pretty darn impressive. It's still pulling stuff off of there. Brought you in a little bit closer and look at back here. So you can see like this little guy, that's a little piece of brake dust. You can see it right there. So it is actually doing a pretty darn impressive job. So definitely didn't get it perfectly clean. Of course, here on the face of the wheel with the Simple Green, you don't have quite as much brake dust, but down here on the inside of the wheel, yeah, definitely cleaning up that much better. So this is actually a pretty cool test. I really like this. Can definitely see still pulling some stuff off. Now, these iron particulates, especially when we talk about paint, can be very hard to see. You can either do Iron X, you can do clay bar, you can do both. I really like doing it chemically like this just to get them off because you're not abrading the surface. A lot of the times, especially on a coated vehicle, spray it down after a really harsh winter, or even if you're driving in a climate that has a lot of industrial fallout, you have a lot of brake dust, you get it down the sides, spray it on there every so often when you notice starting to build up, and then boom, eat it away, good to go. But pretty impressed with this. So let's get this wheel rinsed down and let's do the same test quickly back here. Let's spray this down here. I want to see if there is as much left over. I'm going to tell you realistically, no, there's probably not. But let's see what this does because I'm curious too. So let's let this sit and see if there are any more particulates in there. So huge difference here. Definitely didn't get these perfectly clean, but dang, I think these did a good job. Now you'll see down here, you can see some spots in there that have definitely had some leftover iron deposits, but as I move around the wheel here, yeah, you can see a little in that lip. Actually, there's a decent amount, but not nearly as much as the Simple Green. I just really think, you know, this is a better overall clean. Again, you can still see some right there, but yeah, definitely gives a better clean than the Simple Green. And that's really down to just removing those iron particulates. But I gotta say, I'm very impressed with how well this actually goes in and cleans a wheel. Some of these actually are not very good with dirt. These wheels were properly dirty, I would say. They weren't the worst thing in the world, of course, but yeah, definitely not the cleanest either. You can see how much brighter these wheels look. So pretty cool little test here. Let's give my final thoughts on P&S Iron Buster. So my final thoughts and feelings here on P&S Iron Buster. Honestly, pleasantly surprised with it. Lots of great things here about this product. Again, I really think it's a shame how expensive the 16-ounce bottle of this is. They're trying to be competitive, but when you're more expensive than Magic Wheel Cleaner, albeit by literally $1, Magic Wheel Cleaner, in my opinion, much better overall wheel cleaner, also smells better. The touchless cleaning capabilities of that stuff is next level. So I think what we need to do really next to give our total final verdict is we're going to get all of the different new wheel cleaners out there. Magic Wheel Cleaner, CarPro Wheel X, I think just launched, and I'll do some research on the top rated ones and we'll pit it all against this. But I gotta say, pretty impressed with this. I really think the value here is to purchase it in a gallon size. Now for a lot of people that can be kind of annoying because I really wanted to test it out in a 16-ounce bottle. I figured, okay, looking at the reviews, I think this is going to work well. Ran out of Iron X. Let's try this because it is quite a bit cheaper when you compare it gallon to gallon of Iron X. Now, again, it's still the same price in a 16-ounce bottle, but I think you're saving 30 bucks a gallon on iron remover, which really, if you go through a lot of it, that adds up over time. So still lots to play with this, but overall first impressions of this, I think are actually pretty impressive. Now, again, I don't think this is truly going to replace my other wheel cleaners that I use. Simple Green, okay, arguably, yes, you get a more in-depth clean with this, but I really think Simple Green does an amazing job. It's very cost effective. You can use it on wheels, tires, suspension components, plastics. Like, it's a very versatile product. I get a lot of heat for using it, but I personally really enjoy using the product. So that's why I do it. Does this replace Magic Wheel Cleaner for me? For wheels alone, absolutely not. I think Magic Wheel Cleaner still a lot better. Is it more expensive? Yes. Does this get the job done? Yes. So stay tuned. We still have more testing here. We'll find a car that we can really pit against maybe even my friend Timon's Model 3. It's an older vehicle. Bring it in here, do an iron decontamination, compare this to Iron X, compare all the wheel cleaning. More to come on this, but so far, first impressions, pretty darn impressed. Thanks so much for watching another out of spec detailing video. All the products used in today's video, including all of our wheel cleaning tools, will be in the link in the description below. See you in the next one soon. Bye-bye.